What's up, y'all? I'm back at Northern Quest Casino in Spokane, Washington with my buddy Josh. Bought in for $400 of the 1-3 game, and we're getting started right here with Queen 10 of Diamonds. We're going 3 ways to a flop, and we see Queen, Jack, 10 with 2 hearts. I'm in position, and on a very dynamic board, I decided to bet $25 here. I get called by the player in early position, so we're going heads up to a turn. This brings the Jack of Spades. Not a great card because my 2 pair gets counterfeit, and it brings a backdoor flush draw. It checks to me, and I decide to check it back. The river brings the beautiful Queen of Spades, giving me a full house. Checks to me, I think for a second, and I decide to bet $50 for value here. I'm hoping to get called by any Jack, any 10, any Queen, any straight. Betting $50 here with essentially the nuts allows most of his holdings to call. He decides to make the call, and I take down an almost $200 pot to start off the session. The last few sessions have been rough, so I've been studying more poker content than I have been recently. I've been trying to evaluate my play and stick to my game plan. I can accept running bad, but not if I'm playing subpar poker. I feel like a lot of players get caught up in using run bad as an excuse for their downswings. Although running bad definitely is real, I try to look at my play before using it as an explanation. Moving on to the next hand of the session, I get dealt ace-queen offsuit. I make a standard raise up to $15, and after a little consideration, the player to my left goes all in with a short stack. I've seen him do this a couple times before, and to be honest with you, he doesn't seem like a very competent player or knows what he's doing. It folds back around to me, ask the dealer for a count. $79 total is what we come to the conclusion. I think about it for a second, and I decide against this opponent, I want to gamble. We're going to go heads up against a maniac, all in. The board comes out 10, 6, 7, rainbow. Nothing for me. The turn is a deuce, and the river is a 6, which completes the spade flush draw. My opponent turns over Queen 10 of spades for the flush, and I pay him off. The next hand is an absolute beauty. Pocket aces. I'm in the big blind. Folds around, and I'm getting a little worried, but the small blind makes it $15. Thank God. I think about it, and I have a mandatory 3-bet. I raise it up to $40. After my raise, he thinks about it for a second, probably think I'm trying to take advantage of him blind versus blind, and he decides to make the call. So we're going to go heads up to see a flop. The board comes out, King, Jack, 6, rainbow. A good board for aces, but there could be a lot of draws here. He checks it over to me, and I c-bet for $30. He doesn't take too much time, and he decides to make the call pretty quickly. The turn is the deuce of spades, and I decide to check it back after he checks to me, because I don't think I'll be able to get 3 streets of value from this guy. The river, the 8 of hearts, and my opponent leads out for $60. I snap call, and he shows King Queen before I roll over my aces to take down a $290 pot. Looking back on it, knowing his exact holding, I would have most likely been able to get 3 streets of value betting the turn and still gotten some value from him on the river. But as I played it, I felt raising him on the river with 1 pair would have been too thin to get called by anything worse here. It's either he's got a better hand than me or he's got a bluff. After getting dealt pocket aces, I decided to get a little loose and heat check myself by limp calling a $29 raise in position with 10-7 of hearts. We went 4 ways to a 10-6-4 board, and pre-flop aggressor in early position checks it, and it surprisingly checks around to me. I have top pair, and I thought about defending my equity, but I decided to check it back. Turn is the Jack of Diamonds, not a great card for my hand or my range. Checks to a player in middle position, and he bets $50. As it was played, I decided to make the call because he could be doing this with overcards or draws that he picked up more equity with any flush or straight draw here. At this point, going to the river, I'm looking for a brick card or anything that improves my hand directly. We're heads up, and we see the beautiful 10 of diamonds giving me trips. Completes the backdoor diamond draw, and my opponent bets $65. I've got nothing to do to make the call. My trips are good after he showed Queen Jack for top pair. This brings in a $350 pot my way, and I'm running extremely hot. And I get rewarded for my loose call pre-flop.
Wow, we gambling here. We can't raise them over this call with shit. Wow. Be able to afford to go to a barber.
Somebody pinch me. I get pocket aces again. I raised to $15 and get a caller from the button and early position. Going 3 ways to a flop, we see King, 10, 7 with 2 diamonds. This is a very draw heavy, similar to the last time I had pocket aces in this session. Checks to me, and I see bet $20. Pretty standard, nothing crazy. The player on the button calls, but the person in early position decides to fold, so we're going to go heads up to a turn. The 4th card is the 4 of spades. 2 flush draws now. I decided to bet about half pot, $45. Hindsight, I think I can size up a little bit more, but as played, my opponent thinks for a second and he sticks in the call. The pot building, the river is the deuce of diamonds, the biggest brick in the deck, so I decided to let my opponent try to bluff any missed draws he has. I check, and after a little consideration, he bets $100. I obviously snap call. He tells me good call, so I show my aces and take down a huge pot. Aside from the sizing on the turn, I feel like I played this hand pretty well and got close to the maximum from him. Right after this, I stop filming. But the very next hand, I get dealt pocket aces again. That's roughly a 1 in 50,000 chance to get dealt pocket aces in back-to-back hands. I've never had this happen to me. I make a standard $15 open, and the same player as the last hand makes the call, so we're going heads up to a flop. Flop comes ace, 7, 7. Flopping the nuts, I check it over to him, and he quickly checks it back. The turn is the 8 of spades. Hoping he caught up, I check it again. He quickly bets $20. I take a few seconds, and I make the call. The river, 3 of clubs, a brick, and I quickly lead out for $70 to make it look like a bluff, and he calls me. I show aces, and he looks absolutely sick, and I don't blame him. I scoop up another big pot after playing very unconventionally. My stack at this point has grown to a healthy size, and after losing a few pots, I decided to wrap up my session and book a win.
Thank you.
Alright guys, I thank you very much for watching again. A lot better session this time. I was in for 400, out for 826, so profit of 426 in just about 2 hours. So I was running really hot, got dealt pocket aces in back-to-back hands, ace queen, king 10, queen 10. Everything was just going my way. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.